Swedish government took us in, the survivors. They cleaned us up. The doctor looked us over. They gave us clean clothes. And they were such a nice people. If we wouldn't get liberated this way, I don't know what would have happened to us. We stayed there. Well, first of all, I was too young. I was again separated from my sister, and I had to go to school with the other young girls. And afterwards, we were in school, and then when school was over, I told my sister, come up here near Stockholm. We have more opportunity here. We could go back to Yiddishkeit. And she did, and we find a job, we could rent a place, and we stayed there for 5 years. Our relatives find us through the Red Cross here in America. They send us paper to come here, and the Hungarian quota was very, very bad. But anyway, we arrived here in the United States in 1950. And I tell you, every beginning is very, very, very hard. 5 years I lived in Sweden. I spoke very good in Swedish. Here we arrived on a Tuesday, and Thursday night we went to the night school to learn the English language. And I also learned to be a hairdresser in Sweden. And hopefully I was hoping that I could work here in a hairdresser place. But I had to go to school again. So my sister told me, don't worry, I will work, I will take care of you. You go to school, get your license, and that's what I did. I really could thank you for my sister, that I'm alive here today and I'm talking to you. And I want to thank you so much to listening to me, and I would like to give you the microphone. Poem, Wounds That Never Heal. It is not easy to uncover wounds that never heal. How could I forget the Holocaust? It has been over 70 years since my family was killed in Auschwitz-Birkenau, but I remember as it were today. The gas chamber, the tall chimneys, the burning flames, the unbearable smell and scream and the death of silence. The deep blue sky was always gray from smoke. The days were dark and long. The nights were bright from the tall orange flames. What a place to be, with the electric fence around us, to see little children cry, the little shoes, the dresses and dolls thrown around. Oh my God, what a sight. I wonder how I survived. We looked around for God, we yelled, where are you? Please save us, we begged. And our God, whom we trusted, was not there. We soon find out what hell we had come to. When Mengele came to look us over with his white gloves and the bayonet pointing at us, who shall live and who shall die? There was no one, no time to say goodbye to mother or father or brother or my family. My beloved sister and I were pushed away from there, and that's why I am here today. I hope that my story is not too strong to hear. I believe perhaps I survived so I could tell my story, what I endured during the Holocaust. The world has to know what happened to us Jewish people. All our heritage was destroyed in Europe. The shoes, the Torahs, the prayer books, all went up in flames. There was no one to help us. Please remember the valleys of blood that flowed like water, the blood of parents, children, mothers, infants, teachers, students, and the cry of Shema Yisrael that the victim screamed as they were taken to their death should not be silenced. It should reach your heart, and you should remember. And please, please, never, never forget the Holocaust. Thank you.
Hannah Wexler was born in a small town in Poland in 1936. Her parents were wealthy and her childhood was carefree until Hitler invaded Poland and she and her family were forced into hiding. They were cared for by Polish farmers, but were discovered and sent to the Krakow ghetto. They escaped but were captured again. Hannah and her mother were sent to Auschwitz and her father to Dachau. Hannah's parents survived and the family was reunited after the war. They moved to the United States. Hannah was married in 1962 and has 2 daughters and 2 grandchildren. She has been educating youth in the Shoah for 45 years.
Good afternoon. You heard 2 stories here, and it's impossible that we will hear all the stories that died with the people that perished during the Holocaust, and even those that survived.
Maybe closer.
Okay, because it's better?
A little bit closer.
Closer?
There you go.
Okay. As those who survived, we are here 3 people. One is Belgium, a hidden child. One is a woman that experienced with her sister and was older. I was a little girl when I came to Auschwitz with my parents. I am going to make it short, and I am mainly speaking to you guys. You are the future of this country, and if you see me talking and acting the way I act, you know, and you should understand, I come to schools that there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that you cannot achieve, because children and grown-ups that went through this hell of a time and continued life, were successful, had children, their children are successful, the grandchildren go to school, and all this is because we are Jewish people, and we are Am Kshei Oref. This means we are people with a very strong back. Nobody is going to ever get to us and eliminate us. Then more they try to eliminate us, then bigger we grow and stronger. So you should take those survivors that you are the last generation that will have the opportunity. Are you hearing me? That you are having the opportunity to witness to life stories of survivors. We are a dying generation. You can imagine that me, the old lady, is considered a young woman among Holocaust survivors. So it's not a joke. And you are fortunate to hear about it, because you cannot, and thank God, you cannot understand and feel what we felt. And this is a God-given present, Because if you would feel the fears and the interpretation and the horrible experiences that we had, it would be a disaster. You get it anyhow in your genes. I have children and grandchildren, and everybody had a part of it in their genes, because those experiences are horrible. And you should know and be proud that you are Jewish and continue your Jewish life in the future, and don't ever, ever forget that there was a Holocaust. I didn't come to preach to you, but I survived with a mother and a father, and this is a miracle of that time. So I am coming and talking to you. I went yesterday to a school in Hackensack. Unfortunately, I have to tell it to you, because I went many times to your school, they participate and pay attention much more than our children. And this hurts me very much. So be thankful that you hear those stories and never forget. Is that a deal? Did you have breakfast? Yes. I would like to hear if it's a deal. Yes. Not good enough. Yes. That's it. Okay? This is what it should be. My name is Hannah Wexler. I was born to parents in a little town that is called Proshowitz, Novikorchin, and I was the only grandchild in the family. Hitler came and took over Poland. I don't know dates because I was too young. I don't even want to remember my number. My number is 88987. I didn't have a name because my name was taken from me to dehumanize me, because only cattle and animals have numbers. People have names. Don't anybody of you have a name? All of you, right? But you don't have numbers. I have a number. You heard a long story here. I am going to try to make it short, but I'm going to try to explain to you what is Auschwitz. My life story is I went to Hungary, my parents ran away, we got caught, and we ended up in a cattle cart to go to Auschwitz. Bless you. Coming to Auschwitz, we got separated, my mother and me, and my father and his brothers. When we got separated, we came to a big hole. In the front lines, there were women that were tattooing, and from this tattooing, I got 104 fever, and I was very, very sick. If not my mother, I would not have survived. My mother was put on a Jewish guilt trip by both of the grandfathers. They said to her, Ruja, you have to save Hanale. Hanale is the future of our generation. And she took it very seriously. This Ruja looked like a real Gentile. She had blonde hair, blue eyes, and very, very fair. She was an extremely bright and strong-willed woman. She escaped, she snuck out of the Krakow ghetto in order to obtain false papers. We had two guides that took us from Krakow to Hungary over the bridge, over the mountains. We climbed and walked for days, and our only food was berries, whatever we could find in the woods. And in the morning we took off the water from the dew from the flowers. We got to nowhere, and suddenly our guides disappeared. What does one do? One waits, one is scared, one is helpless, but from far they came 2 shepherds. We waited for them. We did not know what kind of a language. We spoke German, and we spoke Polish, and we spoke Yiddish, but Yiddish was not usable because we had those false papers of Polish people. The guides came, the 2 shepherds came, and the shepherds, we didn't know how to speak to them, but we had a language that we have money. Please, would you take us to a safe place? Yes, they took us directly to the post, directly to the German police, the German police. The German police tortured us for hours and days, and nobody ever admitted that they are Jews. What they did to us at that time is undescribable and inhuman, and I wouldn't repeat it because it's horrible. Nobody gave in, and nobody admitted that they are Jews. They, at the end, decided they are sending us to Hungary. They sent us to Hungary, and in Hungary we had a break that we were like free people. And then the Germans came again to Hungary, took it over, and the Hungarians were more than happy to squeal who is a Jew and who is not. We were put into a camp in Budapest. And in that camp, like this lady said, that there are good Germans. In every generation, every group of people, there are always some good people, even if they are Germans. The guy looked at us and said, "Oh my God, you look just like my daughter and my wife in Germany. I will help you out." My mother got very scared because this helping out, you never know what has entailed. But what he did to us, he put our papers underneath from the newcomers. There were always transports that came, and we were always on the bottom. And this actually saved our lives. This saved our lives. One day we looked around, he disappeared, and we asked, my mother asked, "Where is he?" And he was told that he was sent to the Russian border, that at that time was a definite death to people that were sent. And why? Because he was too good to the Jews. Okay? So he was not there anymore, and this brought finally our papers to the top of the bundle because there was nobody anymore that could hide it underneath. We were put into a cattle car, and a cattle car, it really should not be called a cattle car. It should be called hell on earth. There were people standing, peeing on one another, falling down and dying. Like, there is no way that it can be described. Horrible. When we arrived to Auschwitz, we were separated, the women and the children. At that time, there were very, very few children, and there was only already an order by the Germans, don't kill the children because we are losing the war. So at least show to the Allies that we didn't kill all the children. So I was among those children that were not supposed to be killed. But my mother did anything that was possible to do, and she taught me one thing. Don't say a word. You are not to be seen, neither to be heard. And you know what? When a Jewish mother nags you to death every day, you become an heir. I became nothing. Completely nothing. And this what saved me. So when I got this number, and I almost died from it. We were put in that barrack, and she left every morning with everybody to work, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was left in a tremendous barrack all by myself. And I was told by my mother, if you hear anybody coming, hide, just don't be there. And every day, 8-9 hours, I was all by myself, but I had fantastic entertainment. Fantastic in parentheses. What? And when the people left, the mice and the rats came out. And we had a ball. I was so scared that they would bite me. But on the long run, they entertained me. I watched them. I was afraid they shouldn't come and bite. And this is one little example. Can anybody of you imagine to be in a barrack with mice and rats? Never in a million years. Can anybody of you understand to wake up in the morning next to a Muslim? A Muslim is a dead person that is only